Hi, I'm Linda Dolke. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator here in Australia. Today we are making a cute little vintage style card in a square format. Although you could make this in any size card you like, it works really well for all sizes. We're using the Special Reason bundle, which goes beautifully with the colours that I've chosen, and I hope you enjoy our little card today. Hello again. We're making a really cute little card today. I have it here to show you. Here we go. This one was on my blog a few weeks back, and I had quite a few requests for measurements or a little tutorial, so I thought today we might just do that. I've used, you might notice here behind the big flower, I've used this gorgeous sweet sugar plum glimmer paper. Now this is a limited edition thing that I'm holding. We have 3 colours available in the glimmer paper. It comes in this colour here, the sweet sugar plum. It comes in Bermuda Bay and mint macaron. In fact, I'll just grab one for you to show you. This is what the pack looks like. They're gorgeous colours, love them, but they are a celebration item, which means they're free with a $90 purchase here in Australia. So there's the mint. There's 4 sheets of each, 6 by 6. They go a long way. You don't need to use a lot of glimmer paper on a project to get how amazing it is. So I just wanted to show you those. They're part of the second release of celebration products. So that's the second release, which started only towards the end of February. That's them there, you can see. And also this stamp set here, the Hooray Cheers one called Reverse Words, and this one, Make a Medallion. So these 3 things came out extra to celebration just a few weeks back. So there you go. Now, without further ado, let's start the card. I have already cut up my pieces that I need. So I've got Very Vanilla, which is my card base, and I'm just going to start by folding that in half and using my bone folder just to make sure I have a nice flat edge. Makes all the difference to how your card looks, making sure that that edge is folded really smoothly. And then we also have a square here of, this is Tip Top Taupe, this colour. And I've also got a piece of, this is the Falling in Love Designer Series paper. This is just beautiful, this paper. Let me show it to you quickly. It's in our Occasions catalogue, which will run till the end of May. And it's right here up the back. It's called Falling in Love, and it's all these really beautiful soft pinks, blues, taupes, and vanilla. It's really, really beautiful and goes lovely with like lots of lacy things like the doilies and the little embellishments here. So lots of gorgeous things that you can do with those. Probably some of my favourite papers in a long while. So all I'm going to do really, really simply is just use my nail and quickly pop that onto the piece. If you're wondering how big it is, I'm in Australia, so we use metric here, but it translates fairly easily. The card base is 10.5 centimetres wide by 21 centimetres long this way. And then I've folded it over to make a 10.5 by 10.5 inch card. Now that's it's about 4.25 inches if you're doing this in inches. And then this is slightly inside that. So this is 10 centimeters square, which is about 4 inches roughly. So, and then this piece on top, the paper piece on top, is 9.5 by 9.5 centimeters. And then that's going to end up on here. In fact, we can go ahead and stick that straight down immediately, because that part isn't affected by anything else we're going to do on top. And I'm just going to pop that down. There we go. So that bit of the card is done, nice and easy. All right. So the next thing we need to do is we need to work on this piece here. Now I've got a piece of Tip Top Taupe cardstock, okay, and it's measured, I believe. Oh, I've got use my piece of grid paper to just tell you how much that is. It's 7 centimeters wide by 8 centimeters tall, so it's a little longer here than it is across. Okay, I did that on purpose. I could have made it perfectly square, but I wanted to see some more of the beautiful paper behind, and I didn't want that to be hidden, so I made it slightly narrower. So this piece here is going to be where I'm going to cut out my flower. Now the set we're using today, we're using the Special Reason bundle, which consists of the Special Reason stamp set with these lovely stamp images here, and the Stylish Stems framelit dies. Now the Stylish Stems framelit dies actually are what make this not just another flower set. It's actually the way these cut. and it does several really cute things. We're going to need this one, might as well get them all out at the same time. We're going to need this one, the big flower, and we're also going to need this cutout here. Okay, so let me just show you how they work. Okay, so they cut both negative and positive images, which is really quite exciting because it sets up a whole range of possibilities that you can do with these. Let me just pull these out of the way. I'm going to bring my big shot into the picture, and I've got my plates all ready to go. I'm going to pop my Tip Top Talk piece here on top, and I'm going to position my flower towards the top because I actually want to be able to put a bit of lace over the bottom. If you have a look at the original card, you can see it's up towards the top and the lace is at the bottom. So I'm moving this, and all I've done is made sure that I've got about the same distance to each side of the flower, which gives me more space at the bottom. Okay, so I'm just going to run that through the big shot, and you're going to see it only cuts, this particular die only cuts the negative image of your stamps. Okay, so I always take mine through and bring it back out of habit, just make sure that it's going to do exactly what I want to do. I'll leave the big shot here because I'm going to need it again. And if you want to be safe about pushing out all these pieces really quickly, you should use your die brush over the top, which makes life so much easier. But when you pull this off, it actually doesn't need a lot of die brushing anyway. As you can see, I've just done it without, okay, and makes that lovely negative shape. And that's where our glimmer paper is going to go behind. Okay, really easy to do. So we've already cut this bit. I'm going to pop that to one side, and then I'm going to cut now the little pink flower, which is in the sweet sugar plum, and I'm just using a little strip of paper here for this. Bring my plate back in, my platform and my plates, and this time I'm going to use, it's kind of a mini one of the one we just did, really, almost exactly the same. It might be exactly the same, I'm not sure. No, it's not exactly the same, but it's a similar style, just smaller. And run it back through. And once again, those pieces push out really easy, and you can see that I've just got the negative image here again. But I don't just want the negative image. You can see on the card, I've actually cut out the whole thing, okay? So thankfully, we don't have to get our scissors and cut around that. Nope, we have a little die here to do that for us, okay? And this little die is going to, if you put it, sorry if you're seeing the back of my head while I do this, line it up. Pop that on. If you're using a magnetic plate, that can help you position so it's not going to move around when you put it through. I'm not using a magnetic plate today. I'm using the thin die adapter, which I prefer actually. I really like the thin die adapter, and I only use my other plates when I need, or platforms when I absolutely need to. Okay, so you can see what's happened. First of all, it cut out the middle. If I wanted to use that negative image, I could have, but I've now used this to cut around the outside, and that gives me a whole completed flower. Isn't that cute? So that's going to be used on my card as well. And then the last thing that's going to be used, I'll just move that out of the way for a moment. Okay, the last thing that's going to be used is I've got the little flower here, which is this flower here from the stamp set. And I'm going to pop that here with some sweet sugar plum ink. Now this actually is meant to stamp imprecisely, so you don't get a perfect, it's meant to look a little bit mottled or watercoloured, I believe. And you can see, kind of get that slightly vintage look about it. It's really quite a beautiful stamp actually. And then I'm going to bring my big shot back in, and exactly what I did before, except I'm going to use the outline die, the one that we used before to cut around the shape, and this time it's going to be used to cut a flower that we've stamped. So it fits both the stamps and the other dies, so it's really, really useful. You can get a lot of different options out of this. Bring it forward, just to be safe. You really don't need to do that, that's a habit on my part, but it's whatever you feel comfortable doing. Okay, now we have our flower. So we've got our elements, so we won't need our big shot again. Let's put it together really quick. One of the things I like to do pretty much with all of my cards, and you'll see me do it a lot, I can't help myself, it just makes cards look finished to me, is I grab a little bit of sponge. We sell these as a round sponge, and I chop them up into smaller pieces to make them go further. And I'm just going around my Tip Top Talk piece. Especially if you're going for a vintage look, you really want to do a little sponging, because it sort of makes them look it goes in theme with the vintage look. It can make the edges look a little bit aged, but it also makes them look finished. Okay, it just looks polished. I'll pop these both away for a moment, and we're ready to put this together. Okay, so how I did this, all right, is I put in the corners, 4 corners of my glimmer paper, I put 4 dimensionals. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1 in each corner. Take off the backs. And by the way, the glimmer paper is just cut ever so slightly smaller than the tip top taut piece, and it is actually a square. You can see I have not made it go all the way to the bottom. Wouldn't really matter if I did or I didn't. But those dimensionals behind it gives it a little bit of shadow, so that the glimmer paper has like a little bit of a shadow around it, which makes it quite beautiful. Okay, so that piece is done. Next I'm going to add my lace. Okay, now this lace trim, also from Stampin'Up, I really like it. This is an easy way to attach it. I'm going to use my scissors just to chop it a little bit wider, so I've got a little bit on either side, and then I'm going to get my snail over here. I'm just going to run a strip right across my piece, and I'm going to lay this on there, okay, and then on the back I'm going to attach it there as well. No one sees what happens at the back, so we don't really care how tidy that is too much. All right, like that. All right, so it looks like this, and then I just need to add in my other elements. Now I've got my little flower here, which I'd like to have right about here. You can use whatever you like. Fine tip glue pen for small dies like this is often recommended, but it takes a while for it to dry and be ready to go. I actually am quite fond of just using a tiny little bit of snail over the back of mine, and that's usually enough to hold it, especially when I put the other elements in place. Right, if you're worried about any snail showing, just rub it over with your finger and it just sort of comes off the bits where you've rubbed, like that, and it looks lovely. Okay, and then the last thing I wanted to add, well, actually no, not the last thing. I've got my little flower here, and he's going to go in here, but I've also got a word that I wanted to add from this set. So I'm actually using just happy birthday, because I'd like this to be a little happy birthday card. With these little stamps, tiny ones, you need to be really careful that you don't ink them up too hard, because it's really easy with a small stamp to get ink on the edges so that you overstamp and end up with lines that you didn't want to get. So my suggestion is use a block. If you're using clear, use a block that's very close in size to the stamp. So this is B block. I would not go any bigger than this one. Is it B? Yeah, it is B. Okay, and really gently tap it. And when you stamp, don't rock your stamp, just stamp it straight down, hold it for a couple of seconds and pull it off. Okay, I'm still not happy with that because I missed a tiny bit on the Y, so I'm going to go again. The other thing you want to do is you want to check when you ink up that you didn't pick up any ink around the edges. So with small stamps, you do need to be a little careful. That's better. All right, I've got this little punch here. This is, oh, I've forgotten what you call this punch. I need to look that up for you. I'll print it so you should be able to see the letters appearing on the screen, the name of this punch. I'm so sorry, I've just forgotten, gone completely blank. Now I only want this to be small, so this is a really good punch for little tiny words. If you're wondering why I'm not putting it in the middle, there is a reason, because actually I don't want to use the full length of it. I actually want to make it a little shorter. I'm putting it back in, and I'm going to snip that off and make it the size I want. Okay, so great punch for working with little tiny word stamps. I don't know why I didn't buy it before, to be honest. And I'm going to use a little bit more Tip Top Taupe sponge around the edge of that. And then that is just going to get, I could use dimensionals behind it, but because I'm going to dimensional up my other flower, I'm not going to. I'm just going to pop it on. And I'm going to pop it right here. Okay, and then this flower is going to go on here, so it just sort of goes over the edge of that one, but I'm going to pop a dimensional under him. So I was about to say where are they, but they're right in front of me. About 2 dimensionals. And Just make sure you can read the happy birthday stamp. And there's our piece looking like this. I'm going to attach that to, you can use whatever adhesive you like here, fast fuse, tear and tape. I didn't think it needed more dimensionals because I've already got dimensionals in there, but you could do that too if you wanted extra height. Okay, nearly there. The only thing I wanted to do at the end was just add a pearl, given that we're going vintage here, a pearl to the middle of my flower. Okay, and we're done. I hope you like the card. It's a very easy little card to do, but it shows off how well these beautiful framelits and stamps work together and to get you a whole bunch of different looks. And I hope you enjoyed that today. If you're looking for it in the catalogue, it's on page 42 of our Occasions catalogue. Here it is here. You can see it. It's a special reason bundle. So you have the special reason stamp set and the dies. When you buy both together, you get a 10% saving. And it's also, if you're buying it in wood, $92.50, which means you get a free celebration item as well. Or if you bought the clear mount, which is only $80, you've only $10 to spend if you want to get a celebration item. Celebration is on until the end of March, and you can choose any of the products. But I have to say, my personal favorite right now are these. I love them. So they're free with a $90 order. Have a great day, guys. Enjoy your weekend, whatever you're doing, and I will see you soon. Bye.